Welcome. I just wanted to make a quick video here on some of these power earnings gaps or stocks that are gapping up on contract news or FDA approvals or phase three trials. These episodes that explode higher. That's an event, and this is Carpenter Technology. And when I see a lot of stocks that are gapping higher, and, continuing higher, this tells me it's just another confirmation that we're in a really strong uptrend, aside from just looking at all the indexes and seeing that they're at new highs, which tells us we're in a strong uptrend. Also, these earnings gaps or these gaps higher is another confirmation signal to me, an additional confirmation signal. This is Carpenter Technology, which gapped up on Thursday. 23% with 300% above average daily volume. And usually I like a company to or a stock to rally 10% or more on 100% or more average volume. And we're seeing that Carpenter has been a major winner since the 2022 bear market ended here, right about here. As you can see, this rally, right? And it just keeps rallying higher. Of course, it, consolidates and rallies, consolidates and rallies, consolidates here and rallies. More consolidation, whoop, and then the rally higher. Of course, that was our, our tariff tantrum early in the year. We had a bear market. Now it's rallied up, formed this little base here, and boom, nice explosion here, breaking out of this base up, 32% last week. So Carpenter, put that one on your list. Yeah, I'm just going to do about 10 of these here. Just write these tickers down, and I would think that a lot of them, let's say out of these 10, I bet you, six are going to trade higher. A couple will trade flat, couple will fail, but if the market continues as it is, a lot of these are going to be big winners. And the reason is when an earnings a surprise, the companies, the institutions got to reconfigure their models. They thought this company was going to earn a certain amount of, maybe $2, and now they're going to earn $3. So we have to, upgrade them and raise their price target. This is VICR. And on Wednesday, it exploded out of a base. 30% higher on 740% above average daily volume. Followed through the next day. See, the high there was 89. The high on Thursday was 93, then ran up to 96 and then pulled back on day three, which is not uncommon. But you see this 5 EMA trying to catch up here. So a nice move for Vicker. Another one that I like is Fix. This is a serial gapper now as it gapped up the prior earnings in July up to $700, rallied pretty much the entire way until October was Friday the 24th, another explosive move. That is not out of a base. This one's already, I wouldn't say extended. It's been surfing its moving average for a while. Pulled back to the 50 right before earnings and then blasted higher. Let's take a look at Comfort Systems. This has been a major winner since the 2022 bear market. Just, I want to say it was $100 back to 80, $84. Yeah, and now it's 981. So yeah, if you bought that one, congratulations. But a nice move. I think it's going higher after that, explosive move of 18% on a 169% above average daily volume. Yeah, up 19% for the week. Had a little 3 weeks tight heading into the earnings call. So congrats there. To the fixed long CACI, another one. Earnings gap out of a double bottom base here. That's a nice move on Thursday. 12% move with 246% above average daily volume. Had an inside day on Friday. That's not the worst thing that can happen as it allows the moving averages to catch up. My fifth one on the list is Intuitive Surgical, which had been beaten down, right? I mean, Intuitive Surgical has been in a major downtrend, now a blast above all of its moving averages on Wednesday. 14% move with 239% above average daily volume, and a 4.5% move on Thursday, and just a slight little pullback of less than 1% on Friday. Let's see this. Yeah, this is still in a consolidation pattern, but now above moving averages. And I would say that, this is a stage, if you wanted to use the Weinstein stages, right? This is a major stage two incline, and you have your little stage three area where it couldn't make any higher or break out any higher, and you have a stage four decline. Now I believe we're getting back into a stage one base where it's approaching, moving into a stage two ascending pattern. All right. That's Intuitive Surgical. Kaiser Aluminum of all companies. My goodness. There it is on the weekly. Here it is on the daily. Just want to get the size of the move here. Yeah, 20% with a 729% above average daily volume. Looking at the weekly, just to put it in perspective, really hasn't even broke out of this consolidation pattern yet. Nokia, total shocker. Nokia, the old phone company. Yeah, they make these yeah, small little phones, right? The old folding phone. I think it was original folding phone. I mean, might be wrong there, but I'm often wrong, but never in doubt. This is a double bottom base pattern here, and you can see it. It's come straight up off the lows here and just busted out of that base. Powerful move on Thursday of what, 11% with 244% above average volume. There you can see a little pullback ahead of that move higher. Let's go for some smaller ones here. Doesn't get much smaller than this. MOFG, probably nobody's heard of this one. Very thin company, 150,000 shares traded per day, 800 million market caps. This is a tiny little financial company. And it broke out on Friday, 39% move higher. So we'll take that all day long. Another one is MEDP. This one I've had on my ready list for a while. This one's been a consolidation pattern for a long, long time. And this little looks like an ascending base here as it forms this little cut pattern. And last week broke out 15% move higher. Thursday, the move was a 9%, but I'm going to include it because of, the weekly gain and it breaking out of a base here. You got to, it's all in spirit. This is art, not science. Pega Systems, man, a nice move here on Wednesday, 15% move. And then I had an inside day on Thursday, and now it traded near that high, 67.19. Yeah, just a little bit above the high on Wednesday, $67. So, and the 5 EMA is catching up. You can see how it bounced off the 5 on Thursday. Pegasystems definitely one to watch there, breaking out of that base. I got to look at it on the weekly here. Yeah, there's a cup shape pattern. Look at that handle. 4 weeks of selling. How many people sold into the into the print there? Probably a lot. 24% move for the week for Pegasystems. A couple others I got to include. Winnebago, this is one that really surprises people. But if you think about it, a lot of the boomers are really wealthy. They're retired. They got nothing to do with their money, so they travel and they buy toys for themselves. And the Winnebago is a nice toy. Up 28% move on 500% above average daily volume. You can see it breaking out of a base there. CEO is saying they're really proud that, they're doing well with a rough economy. It's because these are probably not working people that are buying his toys. They're probably just retired people who just, want to travel with a Winnebago or just have it, for a toy and take it out whenever they want. There's a lot of wealthy boomers out there. 34%, as we saw from, some of the airlines and the Hilton report too. They're traveling and they're, staying in hotels and they're buying toys and it's a niche market, but the boomer generation is one of the, that's a large generation and a lot of them retired with money and they don't know what to do with it. So they buy Winnebagos. How about that? SanDisk, this is one that I'm going to include only because, it's not breaking out of a base or anything, but 11% move with, big volume. On Thursday, it was up 13%. And for the week, I mean, yeah, 32% move. So it's not an earnings gap. It's just a stock that wants higher prices, and it really fits the mold because it's up the criteria with, heavy volume. So I'm going to include that one to watch. A couple others that I want to include that don't really fit the mold. CELC, they had a phase three trial. This one just blasted higher. On Monday, yeah, 35% move, pulled back to the 5 and found support. And these things usually have a way of working higher. INBX, another one thin, but on Friday, traded what 102% higher on a phase three trial, I believe. What else do I have here? Some things that just caught my eye. I think that's about it. Anyway, it just kind of shows that there's explosive moves being made. We have earnings coming up this week, and I would watch out for Glowworm, which reports on Tuesday. It gapped higher the last earnings report and just kept higher, higher and higher and higher. Remember, this is the company that makes the glass for the iPhone 17, which is allegedly selling well. So they should have a strong report if that's the case, making a lot of new phones. And then NEGG, this is one that I just bought for a goof here as it ran from like 50 to 130 last year. And I watch it sometimes. And then on Friday, it made this move of 40%, breaking out as like stage one pattern here and above moving averages. So I don't know. It's a super thin stock. It's got 1.4 million shares in the float. So yeah, and the ownership management owns 92%. So be careful with that one. Maybe day trade, but just acknowledging the strong moves in this market. And thank you for watching. This week we're going to have earnings. We're going to see more of these stocks, blasting higher. Of course, it's a crapshoot. There's going to be a lot of stocks that are going to get hammered too. But just showing you some of the stocks that powered higher, mostly on earnings reports, and that's a positive for me. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll have to make another one of these next weekend. See you Monday. Never give up.